Today is our last class. So we still do some review first. Then we still have some multiple choice questions. So today we go to review part. We're talking about some technique. The first we review for some tune measurement. Common use the tune measurement. I believe everybody familiar with this one. Yeah, 3 tune for 4 fingers. But clinically, sometimes we may just need 2 tune. We can use index fingers from here to here, that's 2 tune. And if 2 fingers, index finger and middle finger together, that's 1.5 tune. And the thumbs, that's 1 tune there. And also we use middle fingers from the crease to the crease, that's still 1 tune. So that part, let it be easier. Then we go to the body part, common use the tune measurement. First picture, head part, they missing stomach 8 to stomach 8. That's 9 tune. Because stomach 8 is 4.5 tune away from middle line. So that's from stomach 8 to stomach 8, that's 9 tune. And then from the pupil to the pupil, nipple to the nipple, that's 8 tune. And from the meeting part, the angle of the rib to the umbilicus, that's 8 tune. From the umbilicus to the pupil bone, that's 5 tune. The arms let it be easier. The arms let it be easier. So lower part is 12 tune. Upper part, pay attention, upper part is not to the shoulder. Just to the crease here. That's 9 tune. Legs, let it be complicated. So generally speaking, we use for yang meridians. That's the measurement mainly for the yang part. That's 19 tune. For the yin part, yeah, so that's basically from here and to here. That's 18 tune. That's generally used for yin meridian measurement. 19 tune for yang meridian measurement. And the same thing, yeah, same thing. 16 tune used for yang meridian, lower leg. And 13 tune or 15 tune is depending where you calculate. Middle malleolus. If you go to split 9, that's 13 tune. If you go to the crease, yeah, if you still go to the knee crease there, that's 15 tune. So that's a different book. They may mention kind of difference, but still the same. Then side of the head part, anterior hairline to the middle of the eyeball, 3 tune there. Anterior hairline to posterior hairline, 12 tune. So that's very located like 220. We say top of the ear. but anterior part is 5 寸, posterior part is 7 寸. And from posterior hairline, basically to do 14, that's 3 寸. And the side part, we have another寸measurement from the under axillary area, like a hard one, to 11th rib. That's 12 寸. That's 12 寸. 12 rib even shorter than 11 rib. So we calculate to 11 rib. And then posterior part. Yeah, posterior part. So on the head, we still have a 9 寸 here. So that's we will easily remember. Anterior part, stomach 8 to stomach 8, that's 9 寸. Posterior part, we still have 9 寸here. That's the same. And between the scapular bone to another scapular bone, that's 60 寸. These two measurements we still use, but we just say from middle border of the scapular bone to the dual channel, that's 3 寸. You just adding both sides together, that's 6 寸. These two measurements, generally nothing we use there. I don't know why the book put it there. Not truly use. So that's basically common寸measurement. And we have another one that missing. Just from the hip crease here, like from bladder 36 to bladder 40. That's 14 寸. 14 寸. So these two measurements, clinically, if we located the points, if in the part we have body寸measurement, try to use body寸measurement. That's more correctly. If body part don't have寸measurement, then you can use like prompts to寸measurement. So for example, when we located stomach 36, generally say we are not directly put like a prompt 3 寸 below the knee joints there. We still divided the寸measurement here. Halfway is 8 寸, another halfway is 4 寸, and 1 寸 upper. So that's more correctly located the points. And certainly some multiple choice questions maybe ask you some questions about the寸measurement. So that's寸measurement part. Some detail from where to where, just below, just explanation to the picture above. So that's寸measurement part. Then we go to the structure of the needles. The needles right now, we are not truly use the numbers. Basically, we just use like how long the needles, we use millimeter, and like how diameter of the needles. So that's basically we use. And just remember, a 1 寸 needle equal to 25 millimeter, equal to 25 millimeter. Diameter of the needles is not that important, but longer is the needles is more important. Clinically, we will pick up suitable longer of needles used for the patient. So diameter of the needles or gauge of the needles generally say more bigger, more stronger stimulation, more thinner, people feel less. So clinically, if patient can handle more, you can try to pick up some bigger needles. If people couldn't handle too much, you can just pick up some thinner needles. But generally speaking, bigger needles working better for most cases. And the anatomy of needles, I believe everybody familiar already. That's the handle part of needles. That's the root part of the needles. That's the body of the needles. That's the type of needles. That's the tail of needles. So generally speaking, pay attention root part of needles. If by the accident needle broken, mostly they will broken in the root part. That's the connected part, is more weaker part of the needles. Then angle of the needles. The angle of needle. Different book, different book, they put angle little bit difference. I think we just follow this one. We can just follow this one. So perpendicular, 90-degree with the skin. So whatever you needle for skin there is 90-degree there, is perpendicular. Then you cut half. -45 with the skin. Remember, always with the skin there. That's obliquely. That's obliquely. And if we cut another half between perpendicular and obliquely, that's perpendicular obliquely. Just put the two words together. And if we cut another half here, about 20 to 30 that's oblique transverse. That's oblique transverse. Then even less angle there. Like about, I would like to say about 10 or less than 10. That's transverse. So that's some angle with a needle for a different part of the body. Maybe we need different angles for like a scapular acupuncture. We need most points transversely. And the body part, mostly, we can do perpendicular. So that's the angle of the needles. Then some condition, we're thinking about deeper of the needles, how deeper we insert needles. Certainly in diamond book, like each of the points, they will tell you how deeper you can needle the needles. But generally say in diamond book, how deeper you can insert needles. That's just for safety. Yeah, just for safety way, you needle it. But clinically, you make thinking about a little bit more about insertion the needle. So generally speaking, for the condition like young problems, young condition, or superficial problems, we can needle shallow. Yeah, we can needle more shallow. What means young condition? Heat. Yeah, heat belong to young. And itchiness. Yeah, itchiness mostly belong to wind. Wind still belong, passengerly, still belong to young. And excessive condition belong to young. Yeah, painful relieved by pressure, truly, it belong to deficiency condition. So basically, it's not truly follow yang here, but basically we say deficiency condition, we use less needles, less stimulation, and the needles more superficial, not too deeper. So that's not follow the yin yang here. That's because patient deficiency. And the same thing, weaker pulse. So we can put here for deficiency also. Yeah. Weaker pulse, still deficiency. Summertime, body yang qi go to superficial of the body. So that's seasonally belong to yang condition. Your pulse could be superficially. Then we're thinking about illness in the superficial levels, like the skin, like the muscles, yeah, muscular or meridians, or in the qi level. So that's generally illness in the superficial level, or needle go to shallow levels. And also young part of the body have sick or illness. We can thinking about needle shallowly, like in the head, on the neck, or chest area, or upper back area. That's also we needle shallowly. And people generally kind of weaker, yeah, generally kind of weaker. So pretty similar like we talking about the deficiency kind of patients. So that's we still go to shallow. Yeah, we still go to shallow. And we needle pretty short, keep needle short time. And just a few needles. And use a thinner needle. So that's some generally we're talking about needle go to shallow, now to deeper kind of condition. And the deeper insertion, certainly opposite way. So we say acute condition, we needle shallow. Chronic condition, we needle deeper. Heat condition, we needle shallow. Cold condition, we needle deeper. So basically, chronic condition usually is organs disorder. That's another reason we needle deeper. Cold condition, yeah, usually we're talking about internal cold here. It's not external cold. Internal cold still belong to internal organs disorders. Painful condition, painful condition. We say itchiness belong to wind. Painful mainly belong to cold condition. We needle deeper. And painful, like make it worse by pressure. That's excessive condition. Excessive condition, we put the needle, we can deeper. Excessive pulse, that's still excessive condition. We can put the needle more deeper. Winter time, our body yang qi holding inside deeper part of body. So like in time, deeper part of body is in part of body. So our needle go to in part body. And certainly deep level kind of illness, we put the needle more deeper. Tendons, bones problems, organs problems, blood problems. So just compare like a skin and tendons. Skin is yang, tendons is yin. Muscles and bone. Muscles is yang, bone is yin. And the meridian or channels belong to yang. Organ belong to yin. Qi belong to yang. Blood belong to yin. So generally speaking, yin problems or yin part bodies have troubles or need deeper. And the next one still talking about yin yang. Yeah. Yin part. So compare with the chest, abdominal air is yin. And the lumbrical air compare with upper part of the back, that's still yin. And compare with upper body, hip still yin. And terminals, that belong to yin part, especially lower, legs terminal. That's we needle deeper. And the patient pretty strong. They can handle more needles. Then we can use big needles, thin needles, and the needle deeperly, and keep the needle longer time, and we can use more needles. So situation like sometimes clinic like more complications than the condition here. So you need thinking about which side is more like important. Then pick up your needles and pick up how deeper your needle for the patient. So that's the deeper of insert needles. Then we're talking about the tonify and reducing. So tonify and reducing, that's a pretty important technique when we do needling. So like we talking about the same points, they have tonify function. They also have reducing function. So how we like use the points. like a patient have deficiency condition or patient have excessive condition. So that's basically by the technique, we tonify and reduce it. Certainly, sometimes we can do even technique. Not especially tonify, not especially reduce it. Like a clinically complicated case, they have both excessive condition or deficiency condition. But truly, some points, if you like, especially like to tonify, or especially like to reduce it, we can follow some rule. So the basic method for tonify and reduce it. Certainly we have more, But here we just talking about some basic way. So they pair each other. So we can just talking about tonify and the opposite way. That will be reducing. So we're talking about tonify, lifting and thrusting the needles. Thrusting means more downwards. Yeah, downwards is thrusting. More downwards is tonify. Just like you try to put more qi go inside the body. People have a difference, you try to tonify. You put more qi downwards. And certainly lighter lifting. So that's basically we're talking about after you insert needle already, you needle inside the body already, then you manipulation the needle. More heavily thrusting, slightly lifting. You are not able continually like thrusting and thrusting and thrusting. So you must be mainly downwards and you need coming back a little bit and then downwards. Otherwise, you don't have too big space there. So that's we're talking about mainly 30. That's 25. That's 25. And heavily, heavily 30. And the speed here, they're talking about when you're thirsting, pretty similar like heavily. It's rapid. It's rapid. Like we're thinking about if the needle here, you more heavily and then slightly come back, heavily, slightly come back. So that's the speed. That's the speed here. Don't confuse it later on. We're still talking about speed. So that's the first one. First one we're talking about lifting and thirsting. When we're talking about rotation needles. Rotation needles, we're still talking about tonify. Clockwise more forcefully and rapidly. Counterclockwise more gentle and more slow. Still the same idea. Still the same idea. We mainly, like before, we talked about the tonify is clockwise. But we say we couldn't only turn the needles go to one direction continually. The muscles while holding the needles. So we must be mainly clockwise and get some way counterclockwise. Similar idea. Then we can continue like clockwise. So for myself, sometimes I rotation the needles like a clockwise, and then I relieve my fingers. The needle maybe come back a little bit by itself, and then rotation the needle clockwise again, then relieve. So, but mainly forceful for clockwise. Yeah, forceful for clockwise. So clockwise means you face to the needle. Yeah, you face to the needle. Then that look like a clock in there. That means clockwise. Yeah, clockwise. So clockwise, forceful, and rapidly. That's mainly for tonify. When we talking about like rapidly and slowly inserting and withdraw the needles. So don't confusing this one with the speed before. Yeah. So the speed before, like number 1, number 2 here, is when after we insert the needles, then we manipulate the needle. But this one we're talking about insertion the needles or withdraw the needles. Means the needle past the skin level. That means insert needles. Or needles withdraw, leaving the skin. It's not like manipulation needles. Manipulation needles, we use words lifting or thrusting. Lifting upward, thrusting downwards. But when needle passing the skin level, we use the words insertion the needles, still downwards, but it's passing the skin. Withdraw the needles, still upward, but it's still passing the skin. So tonify way, yeah, tonify way. Slowly insertion. So look like we are a little bit different here. When we're talking about the thrusting the needles, it's rapidly. Yeah. Direction is the same, but we're talking about the different things here. So insertion the needles slowly. Withdraw the needles rapidly. That's for tonify. Yeah, that's for tonify. When we're talking about keep the hole open or closed, so that's basically still talking about withdraw the needles. After we withdraw the needles, we use cotton ball cover the hole. That's for tonify. So that's clinically we commonly talking about rapidly withdraw the needles and then cover the hole. That's for tonify. So these two techniques truly we can use together. Yeah, truly we can use together. And then we're talking about direction of the needles. Direction of the needles. The first level, we need to think about direction of the meridians. So like long meridians, the direction from the chest to the fingers. So mainly points in the arm part. So that's we say if we try to tonify the directions, yeah, follow channels directions, the same direction. Channel direction, long channel direction, downwards. Needle direction, still downwards. That's for tonify. Certainly, if we're talking about large intestine channel or other young channel in the hand, we have sanjiao, we have small intestine. So there are directions from the fingers go to the face, upward. So that means our needles still follow the channel the same way. That's for tonify. And for the leg, it's opposite. So young channels for the leg, that's from the face to the toe. So downwards directions for young channel. So needle direction downwards, that's for tonify. For in channel, they go upwards. So your needle upwards is for tonify. So that's for the directions. Yeah, that's for the directions. And certainly, if you opposite to it, that will be reducing. That's be reducing. Against the channel is for reducing. Then we're talking about our needle follow the respirations. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So insert the needles, yeah. Insert the needles, breathing out, exhale. That's for tonify. And withdraw the needles, breathing in means inhale. That's for tonify. So basically idea here, still try to keep more qi inside and reducing, still opposite way to do it. So that's basically we have six aspects. We're talking about tonify and reducing. Tonify and reducing. So that's for this part. That's for this part. To see if we have question in this part.
I have a question actually.
Okay, go ahead.
I just kind of missed what you were saying about keeping the hole opener closed at the that's when you're withdrawing the needle. I'm just not clear on the actual technique for how to keep the hole closed or open.
Okay, so that's pretty easy. That's pretty easy. So that's the needle here. Yeah, that's needle here. So I say for tonify, yeah, for tonify, we quickly withdraw the needles. Then I use a cotton ball to cover it. That means close the hole. If we're reducing, I slowly withdraw needles. Maybe I even can make the hole getting bigger and bigger. Then gradually withdraw and keep it open, not with cotton ball cover. That means open.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, to see how more questions.
And I do have a question. How long would you keep the cotton ball on for?
It's not necessary too long. Yeah. Basically about 30 seconds or maybe 1 minute should be okay. The meaning just like if you try to go outside, you open the door and you quickly go outside and then you close the door immediately. That's the meaning there. Yeah, not necessary too long. Yeah.
So Jen, if we are reducing and there is some blood after we remove the needle, do we just wait a little bit before we apply a cotton and wipe them up a bit?
We can rip it away, but still keep it open there.
Right. Yeah. I guess I just think like when my acupuncturist is swabbing me with cotton, I think it's because maybe there's a little bit of blood from that. So if we're trying to leave if we're trying to leave it open, we would just wait a little bit before we do that.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
And also for like we talking about the people easily bleeding. Certainly we have different reason and excessive reasons. For excessive reasons, usually is some heat inside the body. So in that kind of case, excessive heat, even we use bleeding technique. So if your needle, after you withdraw the needle, some blood coming out, truly that's the way relieve heat in there. Just let it go. Yeah, just let it go.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, to see if we still have questions here. Looks good. Okay, so we say we still have 2 pages, multiple choice questions. So let's start 184. What's your answer for this one? Yeah, 184. D, yeah, dryness, yeah. So that's passengers in different season, yeah. Fair is in summer, cold is in winter, wind is in spring. Dampness in later summer, yeah, later summer. So that's the passenger. 185. 185. Yeah, D. Yeah, D. Yeah, D is right. Yeah, D is right. So recent years, for board exam, they have a lot of questions like this. They talking about modern medicine relationship with some symptoms. So you can go to CTCMA board. They have handbook in there. They list all the illness name in there. So go to there to check. And for Meridian, like all the units name with their key symptoms. So that's basically a relationship with modern medicine. Okay, next one, 186. Yeah, D. Yeah, D is right. Yeah, still D. Yeah, still D. Yeah, we're talking about the meridian. Go to inside the ear. That's 3 meridian. Yeah, that's 3 meridian. Gallbladder meridian, triple gel meridian, and small intestine meridian. Yeah, pretty similar like we're talking about 3 points in front of the ear, GST points there. So the same small 3 meridian go to inside the ear. Next one, 187. Next one, 187. B, D, B, D, 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 O, B. Okay. Okay, not B, not D. It is E. Yeah, it is E. Okay, let's see the case here. Patient insomnia and mental restlessness. Ulcers in the mouth and in the tongue. Thus truly belong to heat in the heart or heart failure. Excessive heat there. Heart heat or heart failure. Tongue air, mouth air belong to the heart. So that's gum air belong to stomach if ulcers on the gums. And certainly, sometimes we also can separate upper gum and lower gum. Upper gum, more stomach. Lower gum, more large intestine. But truly, we couldn't only to see like where the ulcers located. We need to see other symptoms. So that's patient insomnia, mental restlessness. That's truly go to heart. That's why we say the symptoms here is the heart, the heart failure. And fail heart, deeper yellow urine, deep yellow urine, and painful urine. That's still heat size. Yeah, that's still heat size. Tongue is right. Yeah, tongue is right. And the yellow coating, that's still internal heat. And the pulse, deeper rapid pulse, that's still internal heat. But pay attention here. According to the series of Zangfu organs diagnosis, it would be. So let's see here. Yeah, let's see here. Certainly nothing in liver. And still no liver here, and nothing relationship with the liver. Heart failure transmitted to your blood. So that's Zhangfu relationship. We don't have the root directly from the heart to your blood, but we have Zhangfu relationship, heart to small intestine. So small intestine is 太阳 and your bladder still 太阳. So that kind of relationship in there. It makes sense? Yeah, let it be harder one. Let it be harder one. Okay, so let's go to the next one. 188. Yeah, 188.
So Jan,
Yeah, go ahead.
would you say then it's impossible for the heart fire to transfer to the urinary bladder?
Yeah, not
Okay.
not directly go to your bladder. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, heart fire will transfer to small intestine. Okay, 188. E. Yes, E is right. Yeah, E is right. Yeah, kidney problems may combination with the lung. That's usually we talking about the people maybe asthma, short breath. Kidney and the liver, usually the problems is indifferency, both indifferency. Kidney and the heart disharmonized. People usually cause the sleep problems like insomnia. And the kidney and the spleen usually cause the problems together is yang differency. So kidney disorder truly can with other organs disorder together. So next one, 189. 189. Yeah, C. Yeah, C is right. Do you get some idea? Everybody is good for this one? So basically these questions, yeah, kidney meridian points, we call, they use the words pretty confusing here. But basically they talking about they meeting with actual ordinary meridians. So kidney 8 is in-way meridian. Kidney 9 is 阴桥. Kidney 11 meeting with 冲. Kidney 12 still meeting with 冲. So that means only kidney 10 didn't meeting with actual ordinary meridians. This makes sense? Yeah. So that's for this one. Then we're moving to 190. 190. Yeah, B. Yeah, B is right. Yeah, B is right. Yeah, we're talking about gas points and the host points. Host points is yuan south points. 189 is C. Yeah, yuan south points. Gas points is the lower connecting points. So for spring channel, we need to pick up yuan south points of the spring and the lower connecting points of the stomach. So that's for this one. And the next one, 191. Yeah, 191. Any idea? Everybody pick up C. A little bit tricky question here. So in the answers, they're talking about A, kidney 1. Kidney 1, certainly inside of the feet is more sensitive place and more muscles there. It's not that easily bleeding. But other points is more shallow. And some of them is like Hershey points. It's good for bleeding. So that's for this one is not for bleeding. Bladder 2, yeah, bladder 2 is still okay. Yeah, still okay. It's pretty close to intang. We have some eyeball there. Even sometimes we do needling, maybe still cause some bleeding. Yeah, it's not bladder 1. Bladder 1 we are not bleeding. Yeah, bladder 2 is okay. Yeah, bladder 2 is okay. Okay, so the last one, 192. Yeah, 192. Yeah, everybody go to A. Yeah, everybody go to A. Yeah, A is right. Yeah, A is right. Yeah, A is right. That's the Usher points for acute some injury. So that's for this page. Yeah. To see if we have some questions for this page. Certainly we can combination together. Yeah, we can combination together distal points with like local points or Usher points. But truly Usher points means they have more blocking in there. So that's truly we can pick up there. But clinically, most cases we combination together. We are not only use Usher points. Not E, and not E, not A, not B, is D. I saw some students put D there. Yeah, go to your diamond book. Yeah, go to your diamond book. So looking how we located the points for 三角 22. So basically we fill the artery there. So that's 三角 22. Yeah, 三角 22. Then next one, 194. Yeah, 194. Everybody go to A. It is E. Yeah, it is E. He's right. When we talk about twin measurement, we say we have upper arm, we have lower arm there. So lower arm, and my arm is not like a following size there. So lower arm from the crease, between two creases is 12 twin there. Upper one, yeah, upper one twin measurement. From the crease to the axillary crease here, that's 9 twin. So where is LI 15? LI 15 in the shoulder area. Truly, we don't have twin measurement from the shoulder to here. We only have twin measurement from kind of LI 11 to the axillary crease here. So that means no twin in there. Yeah, no twin in there. Make sense? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Pay attention for the question. Yeah. Pay attention for the question. Yeah. Thinking about the twin measurement from where to where. Yeah. From where to where. Truly, we don't have twin measurement in that part. Okay, 195. Yeah, 195. What do you choose for there? E. Yeah, E is right. Yeah, E is right. Yeah, E is right. So now tells like internal wind symptoms there. Yeah, so that's E. And 196. Yeah, 196. A. E. Yeah, E is right. Yeah. Both this one is right. I kind of test you for Chinese character here. Yeah, so treat wind problems. Certainly wind pulse is good. Yeah, wind pulse is good. So that's a Chinese name here, matching each of them. No, board exam will not ask a question like this. Yes. But clinically, if you can remember some Chinese name, may be good for the functions. Yeah, but not for board exam. Board exam will give you both. Yeah, number and the Chinese pin name. You know, any of them will be working. Yeah, they will not test a question like truly test you for Chinese pin name and matching with them. But good to know for clinical use. Okay, 198. Yeah, 198. Yeah, that's A. Yeah, that's the needling directions. And 199. 199. 197 is, oh, I'm missing that one. Sorry, I'm missing one question here. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to 197. Yeah. Yeah, 197. Yeah, A is right. Yeah. Heart meridian start from heart. Yeah. Yeah, heart. Yeah. Now people go to axillary eye. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So we're talking about the meridian originally. Yeah. We are not talking about like a channel points start. Yeah, A is right. A is right. Then I see some people put the answer for the 199. I didn't check in for your 199. Can you put again 199? Yeah, C. Yeah, C is right. Yeah, C is right. Yeah. All the young meridian meeting do 14. Okay, for last question. 200. 200. D. D is right. Yeah, D is right. Yeah, so that's basically follow the channel there. Follow the channel there. Yeah, to see if we have more questions in this page. Hundred and 98 is A. Yeah, 198 is A. Yeah, looks good. Hundred and 97 is A. Oh, from 97. Yeah, yeah, A, C, D. So that's basically we finished 200 questions. Yeah, 200 questions. You can go back to looking all the 200 questions to see which part you need more review. You need more review. Like which part you're losing questions and which part you are more familiar. You can go to a more review for that part especially. So that's pretty similar like our board exam. Certainly not the exam the same, but they will cover everything. Yeah. So that's our question part. Then we still go back our notes. We only have a small part in our notes about Moxa. So Moxa, we have directly Moxa and indirectly Moxa. So generally speaking, Moxa is more tonified. So that's good for deficiency kind of condition. And certainly marks up with burning the warming herbs there. And plus fire, yeah, and plus fire. So that's generally lot of heat there. So that's why we say marks are good for cold condition. So what means deficiency cold? That's generally say it's yang deficiency, yeah, internally yang deficiency. That's the generally say we use maxa tonify, especially for yang deficiency kind of condition. So if we're talking about the organs, maybe mainly kidney yang deficiency, or maybe spleen yang deficiency. So that's generally both directly maxa or indirect maxa will working for that way. But when we're talking about indirect maxa, means we can put something between the maxa and the skin. So that means we use like a combination maxa with some herbs. Yeah, all of these we can think about herbs. Yeah, even salt, yeah, they still have TCM herbs functions. So we put something between the skin and the maxa and get maxa more effective. So pretty commonly, like the people lay down there, that's the skin here. And we know we have a pretty good points for maxa, then 8. Then 8, we say no needle, but we can do maxa. We can put something over the umbilicus area, then 8, and put maxa over it. Then we burning the maxa until the maxa totally burning out. People still can feel heat from the herbs between maxa and the skin, and able can keeping for a little bit longer time. That's usually we use for indirect maxa. Put some herbs between there. When we put different herbs in there, they will have their special actions. So pretty commonly, we use some of the herbs or materials putting for indirect maxa. Ginger, yeah, ginger for Chinese herb we call 生姜 or 干姜. 生 is the Russian one, 干 is the dry one. Yeah, 生姜 or 干姜. Cut for small pieces. Yeah, cut for small pieces. then put between the skin and the maxa. So generally speaking, ginger will warming both middle jaw and the upper jaw. So that's we say if we put a ginger maxa, that's basically we more working for the middle jaw weakness conditions. Middle jaw weakness, yeah, spleen stomach weakness. That's we can think about kind of spleen yang deficiency, spleen qi deficiency. Spleen yang, spleen qi deficiency will cause the people diarrhea and abdominal painful situation. And we also can thinking about some like a yang deficiency cause the cold inside the body and cause the painful situation, maybe in the muscles, maybe in the joints. So basically, some cold cause the blocking. We use ginger warming, moving qi, move blood, and remove it. So that's the ginger we use for indirect maxa. Garlic, garlic is not that commonly we use, but truly some people use it for some condition, usually some kind of skin toxin kind of issue. But pay attention when skin, like skin ulcers in there, or maybe some other toxic kind of issue there. You are not moxide right over the ulcers. You can around it, not directly on top of it. If you put directly top of the ulcers, will cause patient painful situations. But you can put some moxa around the ulcers area. Then helps still qi moving, blood moving, and relieve some toxins. So that's garlic, garlic. Another two we need more pay attention, Salt. Why we use salt for maxa? Salty fever go to the kidney. So kidney is the organ or originally 元气 coming from, 阳气 coming from. So that's we talking about patients severe kind of yang deficiency. We call yang collapse conditions. Like people have big sweating, cold limbs, and pretty weaker pulse. So that's the yang collapse condition. We especially use salt to recover yang qi. That's most severe kind of yang qi deficiency. We use the word yang collapse. Truly yang collapse conditions is pretty emergency kind of conditions. usually we are not see the patients with young collapse conditions in our acupuncture clinic, but maybe in the hospital, like before people dies, few days, couple days before. Yeah. Usually it's a couple days before, and then like people got pretty big swelling, and like a pulse pretty regular. So that kind of condition we call young collapse condition. So young collapse condition, we need like especially recover young from the kidney. So that's we especially need salt. And certainly we can use with some other conditions. Still some cold inside cause the abdominal painful situation, or maybe vomiting, diarrhea, and painful. So that kind of condition, we still can use salt. Then another herb we call 附子, mark salt for English. So 附子 is the herb, pretty hot. So 附子 clinically we still like burning yang qi. So that's we say it's warming yang. Yeah, 附子 warming yang. And relieve some cold conditions. So that's we say for 附子 still warming, even hot. So if we use with maxa together, still good for warming yang qi. But remember, if patient with young collapse conditions, we must be go to salt. That will be more effective compared with 附子. But if patient just yang qi deficiency condition, we can go to 附子, but not for young collapse condition. We need to go to salt. And certainly 附子 also for some like patient kidney yang deficiency caused some like sex function deficiency kind of situations, like a 命门 fair deficiency, we still can go to 附子. In this kind of situation, we can use salt. Yeah, we can use salt also. But young collapse condition, we couldn't use 附子 instead of salt. So that's for all maxa part. To see if we have questions in this part.
And I actually did have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when using the indirect moxa methods with like ginger or fusa or whatever you're doing, I know that makes sense on Ren 8, but I'm just thinking, like, could you do that on another point as well?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
Or would the garlic or salt only be used on Ren 8?
Yeah, any points or any air you can use, but certainly you need to pick up the patients like a precisions, like a by 2 points, you still can use. like stomach 36, if you try to use like whatever you put in there, you only can do one side one time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, bladder 23 to 4 is good. Yeah. Three three, like we still can do maxa, but maybe warming needles is a better way, because that air you are not easily for like put some herbs in there for indirect maxa. Usually I will use for warming needles. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I mean, if you like put some stuff in stomach 36, like the points located inside of the leg, they will not stay there if patient face up. So you need like the patient lay down by side. Yes. Yeah. So you can do one side and then do other side. Or maybe you use the other way to do it. Yes. Okay. So that's our class. I have give you some idea how to do your review for your board exam. And still, like I say, go over the handbook coming from your board exam. That's in CTCMA website. Go carefully for whatever they're talking about there. And prepare your exam. So that's basically they will update time to time. So you checking time to time. You means the handbook of CTCMA? Yeah, handbook CTCMA. You can just looking for, yeah, CTCMA website. Yeah. Because they always update, so I didn't put on my website. So you just looking for the CTCM website. So I put the CTCM at website linking here. In my website, yeah, in my website, you can find like the class recorder from the not this semester. So basically last semester's class recorder in my website right now. And that's linking to my YouTube channel. So if you like looking for, you can looking from my website. So that's basically our class. I hope that can give you some help for your exam. So next week is our final. So our final pretty similar like our midterm. Still multiple choice question only. Still 50 questions. One question, 1 mark. I still sending you our final by the email. Around 12 p.m. Next week, same time. Next week, same time. And sending me email back by 2:30. I will confirm when I receive your email. So if you have questions, you're still coming for the Zoom for the questions. If you don't have questions, you are not necessarily coming for the Zoom. So we don't have class after. We may don't have a chance to discuss our final, and truly, maybe some final questions I still reused in future. I may not give you the right answer, but I will upload your mark to our school's website as soon as possible. I think just a couple days. And you can see the final part. So basically, I will put like a 45 or 50 in there. Certainly, it's up to 50. If you see 45 in there, means you're missing 5 questions. So our midterm, 50 marks. Final 50 marks. Together is 100 marks. Our passing rate is 60 or 70. I forgot. Let's see. Yeah, 70. Yeah, 70. I believe everybody will be passed. Yeah, I believe everybody will be passed. Yeah, no worry. So, but the mark, like midterm and the final, totally is 100. If you got 70, you pass. So that's about our final. To see some, I still have some questions. It looks good.
I think Alana was asking, I don't know if you said already, is it cumulative from or from the midterm?
Oh. So usually other class, I will say final will after midterm, but when I review class, I would like to say everything. We couldn't separate only after midterm. So everything, yeah, everything in your final, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, everything will be in the final. Pretty similar like we do multiple choice questions. But we just have 50 questions. We don't have too many questions. Don't give you too pressure, but truly, when you go to board exam, I think they put 1 hour, 150 questions, about 150 questions for 3 hours. Let's double check here. So that's that's the handbook coming from CTCMA website. So basically, they give you pretty detail, like how exam will be happens in there. So your exam separated with 2 parts. One part is reading part. Reading part is multiple choice question only. Another part is clinical case part, but right now still on the computer. They will give you case and give you questions. You answer the questions still. And multiple choice, they say you will have 125 to 175 questions. And the 4 possible answer choice. Only one is right. Case study part, the case study part, it will have 40 to 50 questions. And they have different form. They may still have multiple choice. And also they have different form, like a pair, true and false, like a multiple selected. Multiple selected will have more answers right, not only one answer is right. And maybe also have form, reorder question. So that's the second part. So just give you some more example here. Let's give you some example here. And for acupuncture exam, yeah, acupuncture exam, first part, multiple choice, 2.5 hours, 125 questions, and plus 10%. Like some question they just test you, but not truly calculate to your mark. But you don't know which question is they test you. So you just answer all the questions, whatever, how many in there. But if some questions you truly don't know, you don't need to worry. Yeah, truly they have 10% question there. They are not truly calculated to your mark later. That's maybe just test. And the clinical case part, still 2.5 hours. Yeah, 40 questions. Still plus 10% test questions. And all the form here. So that's the basically chart. Yeah, basically chart for your exam. And from this handbook, you also can find like the percentage about knowledge. Yeah, percentage about knowledge. So still mainly focus on foundation and the diagnosis and the treatment. So that's still big part in there. And on the ending part, they have some book suggestions. Yeah, so like they also give you some detail how to prepare for the exam. And how to register for exam. So they give you pretty detail about your board exam. So carefully go over it. Yeah, carefully go over it. It's pretty long. 90 pages here. And they give you some simple about exam questions. You're familiar with the questions. Some book refers the list of books here. You are not necessary to have all the books, but at least in each part you have one book in hand, like a foundation and the diagnosis. Better have two. Yeah, better have two, because some translator is different. So I believe this book is we use for review. Yeah, this book we use for review. And I think most of you have this book. But for each of the part, you have at least one. But better have two or three. Especially like they make a special notes here. It's better you have. So that's for foundation diagnosis, and then clinical practice and treatment. And for acupuncture, they have some recommended book here. And biomedicine, yeah, biomedicine. And they also have some like words they used in the exam, like the tongue and the pulse. That's meridians. And standing tree measurement, yes, standing tree measurement. So that's the poise. Poise, they may give you the number or pin name. And the actual poise, yeah, actual poise, yeah, follow the list, yeah, follow the list. Remember the actual poise. And for the top, yeah, for the top, yeah. They use in the exam. They use in the exam. And the pulse, they use in the exam. So you need to familiar all the words here. Then the herbs, yeah. And the biomedicine condition, yeah. Follow the chart here, like we talked about before. Follow the chart here. For biomedicine condition, familiar the key symptoms, like what happens in there. So they list totally 54 biomedicine condition. You need understanding what truly happens in there, and the key symptoms, yeah, and the key symptoms. And for TCM condition, yeah, some illness name conditions, including internal medicine, external medicine, and gynecology, and pediatric, and others. Yeah, so that's in CTCMA handbook. Lot of information in there. Yeah. Go over it. Yeah, go over it carefully.